So, happy Sunday, Oprah Insiders. This week, something that you probably heard me talk about before if you've ever read Oprah Magazine or watched the Oprah Show. And what I'm talking about is listening to the whispers. Now, you see, your life whispers to you all the time if you're paying attention. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning until the moment you go to bed at night, it's just speaking to you. And really, hearing those whispers is one of the most integral pieces of the puzzle, I believe, that's needed to put together the bigger picture of your best life. Now, there might be a message sent or meant for you that first comes in a whisper that to you sounds like, that's strange, or that seems odd. I didn't leave that door open. But then if that whisper isn't addressed, the whisper will become amplified, getting louder and louder until it suddenly becomes what I call a big thump on your head. And if you're still not paying attention, that little nudge transforms into a brick of a problem. And then eventually, all of those ignored bricks that make up the structure and stability of your life come crashing down. So know this for sure. Life is whispering to you all the time, then turns into a brick of a problem. You ignore that problem, you get a brick wall of crises. So the key is learning to get the whispers before they turn into bricks. So this has shown up most often in my life through relationships, bad relationships when I was younger, when someone who's shown me who they are in a whisper and I keep hanging on until they do something that's like a brick upside my head. So last year, listen to this, I toured for WW from January 4th to March 8th. And immediately after that last show, I went to the Bahamas to take a week's break. And after 2 days, I started feeling the strong whisper, just a feeling that maybe I shouldn't be relaxing in foreign waters and should get home in case our country went into some kind of shutdown. Literally at 3 a.m, that feeling came over me that I need to leave, I need to get home. So I returned home on March 11th, stayed in lockdown for the next 321 days. And I've learned over the years to kind of pay attention and heed what's whispering before it has to knock me upside the head. So many things in life, like the pandemic, are out of our control. But I do know that many things are in our control unless you choose to sleepwalk your way through it. So I ask you, what is whispering to you right now? Some of you may have realized the life you lived before the pandemic no longer actually serves you, and that returning to working in an office is not your next best move. Or maybe you gained a deeper appreciation for your family and friends, or alone time, as we talked about last week. You might even have turned a passion or a hobby into a full-on business. But there are others who are just gonna get right back to their routine without heeding those whispers and understanding what is really calling to you. If there's one message you take away from me today, it's to listen to the whispers, because you are in the driver's seat as to where they lead you. So for the 25 years that I did the Oprah Show, I would often get frustrated because some guests who would come back and they just weren't paying attention to their life. But I realized too, it's easier to observe it. It's often much easier to observe someone else's situation more clearly than your own. So I encourage you to take the time to observe and listen, become aware, and learn to discern what your head is saying versus what your heart is saying. And sometimes you may follow a voice in your head that's not your true calling, and that's okay too, because you get as much from the losses as you do from the wins. So I say, just keep listening, being aware of what is whispering to you now. And have a beautiful week ahead.
Yes. Okay, awesome. You guys are muted. Good morning. That was great. Oprah, you're muted, Tamara. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that was very
Did you know
interesting.
that there is a 100%
Oh,
natural
oh
fat
my.
loss method that absolutely destroys stubborn body fat in adults over
Can you
40
hear that?
years?
Yeah. other people even know it exists.
I don't know how to
So
stop
if you're
it.
over 40 years old,
Okay, that's funny. Something's always going on. Yeah, I put that on pause, but it kept going. Whatever. There's always technical challenges, but it all comes together. It's cool. It's amazing to have Oprah in our little living rooms here this
Was
morning.
that part of your video?
No, well, I think it just kept something jumped on after that video ended. So,
Oh, okay.
but it sounded like what's his name? Not David Smith, but I don't know what that was. Yeah, it's some feeling healthy video. Cool. But that's cool, isn't it? I've kind of always struggled with that, this idea of listening to what's going on in your head, and it's more like it's an intuition, you know. Do you listen to it, or is it just
It's not intuition, it's God speaking to you.
right? Okay, cool.
And I call God the source,
The source, yes.
because Da Vinci and all those geniuses of the past, they all had connections with the source.
Yes.
And that source is there always. It's still available to us.
Yes.
And it's you get a nudge sometimes. Quite often those nudges are the source pushing you to make a left instead of a right or something of that sort. So, and anyway, get back to my my presentation.
Yeah, let's just talk about that for 2 seconds here, because that's important. You know, someone said the other day, which really made sense to me, like, God is not a man or a woman. God is inside of you in your heart. That's an energy. And then what Oprah is saying, that is, you know, those things that are happening around you, you have to pay attention to it. And the main thing I'm kind of thinking about is we're about to launch a huge project here in January. You know, is it the right thing to do? Are we doing the right thing? Is something that's holding us back from doing it? Or are we really going forward and making this happen? And you got to go in your head and decide, until you make that decision, okay, this is the right path, this is what we're doing, nothing's going to happen, you know? That's what
God is light and sound.
Mhm.
Light and sound. Everything in existence on Earth, on this planet, is light and sound. And when God first formed the Earth, the thought come to him, I got to leave the message of what is life about somewhere on Earth so it's available. And where can I leave it? And he decided to leave it in the water, because the ocean is so full of water, it can never be lost. And that's why water is the only element we have in existence that exists in all three sources: solid, liquid, and gas.
Okay.
And that's H2O. H2O is oxygen, and the hydrogen and oxygen. I mean, that's life, light and sound. And it's, I mean, really deep, but that's what God is, light and sound. And that all the energy and the knowledge is in that light and sound.
Yes, and I think it's very important in everything we do. We always I think
Absolutely.
we ignore it too much, you know, and especially if we're looking at it in the perspective of what we're doing right now. Is it what we truly believe? Is it the right thing? Are we going down the right path? You know, and I like how even Oprah says that it's in your heart. Follow your heart. You know, that's where the energy is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And if you really stop and think about it, that's pretty deep. God is light and sound. There's nothing else. Everything, a rock is really compressed sound, a light rather, compressed light.
The
So we
vibration.
got yeah, it's amazing. It's that's heavy. That's heavy. You're like, it's just a rock. It's just a rock. Wow. This rock is a lot.
Right. Yeah, so I think, you know, I learned something today. I'm gonna start listening more to this,
Oh, absolutely.
paying
And-
attention to things that are happening, you know? And this path that we're going down is all coming together for a reason. You know, these meetings, you know, connecting with Mark, connecting with David Schmidt, connecting with this product, and now we're just, you know, connecting with other people. And another cool thing, I didn't know Oprah was going to go into that, but people have experienced a new type of life, staying at home, not going to work every day. And a lot of people are deciding that that's a better way to go, that that's what they like more. Now they need something to do. Now they need a way of generating income, which is what we have. And some people are not listening at all. They're just thinking, okay, we're going to one day get back to work in our regular lives again. And that's not going to happen. So right now in the universe, in the world, we have all these people that have experienced huge changes, that know something is better, and we have that to offer. So that's amazing timing, and that's what it is for me. That's why I'm doing it for myself. I know I can't rely on anything else now. I have to rely on something I could do from my computer. And I you know, I might not even be able to get in the country, out of the country. I might not be able to leave the house, whatever, but we can do this, right?
Yeah, I was horrified last week to discover my passport has expired. Oh, God.
You better get it. It could, like, it's not as easy to get one as it used to be. Like, I've talked to
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your presentation, Potato?
Yeah. Talk
Okay.
about that.
Okay, let's say now if you're pressing, I always started my presentation with, I was talking to people who want to make money. Okay, want to make money some way. So let's say, and it's the same in this company. We're selling health and fitness through the patch, but there's also a money opportunity there. And if you stress the money opportunity, it's important. And so I would never even tell them hardly, well, they knew the company, but I'd say, so do you want to get started? They say, yeah. I said, well, let me tell you how to get started. And I'm going to tell you the full spectrum. Let's say you lived in New York and you want to go to Los Angeles, or vice versa. Because some people will say, hell, I never want to go to Los Angeles. Well, then let's say you're in Los Angeles, you want to go to New York. You can get there by walking. You can ride a bicycle. You could take a train, or you could take a plane. And the fact is, the faster you go, the more it's going to cost you. So whatever's in your budget. And if you're walking, that's going to take you forever, but you can get there. If you persist, you will get there. So the minimum cost to get involved with LifeWave is really $25.
25 bucks.
I mean,
one time.
if a person can't afford $25, let's face it, they're not very determined to get into this business.
Yeah.
Now, the ultimate, and I don't know what our ultimate purchase is. Was it $900 or $600?
I don't know. Let's look that up. Tamara,
Okay, we'll do that. Let's say it's $1,000.
what's the highest level you can come in at in LifeWave?
Platinum, I think.
And how much is it? Yeah.
You go to the website.
Diamond 1500.
Diamond, yeah.
1,500, Rod?
Yeah, 1500.
Okay,
And
so I
that's,
say,
that's platinum, right?
No, diamond.
Diamond. Okay. And do you know how many products can you get with that? Like
it
$1,500.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
Okay.
matter for the
So, yeah, so
presentation.
$25 to $1,500 to come in.
So now, Don, here's it. If you want to make some money, the best way, of course, would be the maximum. That's the way I joined the company we're in now. But fact of the matter is, you can join for only $25. Now, what I want you to do is pick a number that's comfortable for you, whether it's 25 or 1,500 or in between. You have that option. But the important thing is that you get started. Okay. If you get started at 25, the tools are there if you want to work. But
All the tools are there. You get the same tools.
But if you really want to get going fast, if you buy the ultimate program, which is 1,500, you'll have all the resources and all the examples and everything you can imagine. But either way you start, you can get to New York. Okay. So it doesn't matter to me where you start. What is important to me is that you do start. And then my job is to give you the resources and the training, make sure you know it's available so you can get to your goal. So tell me, what's comfortable for you?
Yeah.
When I say what's comfortable for you, I lock up my jaw and I open my ears. Okay. And
Yes.
I'll tell you, I one day, the program I was in was, they started at $39 to get our little kit, you know. This is just our opening package. And she drove a school bus in Oregon. She says, well, Potato, I'm so broke, I can't even afford that $39.95. And I said to her, I'll never forget this. Let's say her name was Lucy. I forget what it was because it was 30 years ago. I said, well, Lucy, I'm sorry, but you know, if you can't raise $39.95, you have a real serious problem. And when you solve that problem, give me a call. You got my number.
Mm.
She called back an hour later. She said, I found the money. Okay. And she got involved. She did pretty good. See?
Wow.
So I didn't turn her down. I just said, I felt from the heart, you know, I said, you have a real problem if you can't come up with $39.95. So when you figure out how to do that, I mean, and then you can expound on that if you feel like it. It depends on the person. And one thing is I say, let me ask you something. If you really wanted a goal you wanted and you needed it, but you needed $500 to get it, you could probably come up with that. I mean, let's face it. If your refrigerator broke down, you'd find a way to buy a new refrigerator, right? It might cost you $500 or 800 or whatever, or even a used one. But some way you would solve that problem. So pretend your refrigerator broke down or your car broke down and you need that money. If you have a goal, that's the only way to get it is by determination. That's it. So again, on what's comfortable for you to get started in this company?
Yeah, what's comfortable for you? That's awesome. Yes, and then all right, do you explain, and hey, good morning, everybody. I see you there, Rod and Dee and Brady. Yeah, we're talking about, we watched Oprah, so I know you just jumped on the call, but we started like a little early today, but it was great. She's talking about listening to the whispers in your head and paying attention to them. We're talking about everybody has this change of direction in life. They're at home now. They don't want to go back to work. What are they going to do? And Potato's talking about how he used to build a business, right? And that was successful. And that's amazing, talking about giving people an option with these prices. And did you actually talk about the New York LA thing when you were talking with people, just like you're talking with us?
Oh yeah.
You told them that story. If you're in LA, you're trying to get to New York, you know, you can walk there, you can take a car, you can take a plane. It all depends on how fast you want to get there. So
you can walk, ride a bicycle.
Right.
You could even hitchhike.
Yeah, right.
But if you're determined to make money in this business, the fastest way is the $4,000.
Yeah, or the $1,500 level.
Or you can take an airplane. That's the fastest.
Yeah, right.
But don't overextend yourself because then it puts pressure on you.
Right.
Whatever is comfortable for you. Whatever is comfortable.
Yes.
And when I was started, he told me, oh, you got to go $4,000 order.
Yes.
I ended up spending $5,400. Okay.
Wow.
And that was in November of '94. And by March of '95, I was making over $10,000 a month.
Right.
Because I quit my financial planning business completely. I called all my clients and I said, I'm out of the business, find somebody else. And I put the same amount of time into that company.
Right. Yeah.
And that was kind of like a 90-day plan.
Yeah. And then also what you're not mentioning, I think people you're leading by example. So people see that you came in for 5,500 and they want to do the same, you know. If you came in for 25 bucks, they're gonna, okay, I'll come in for 25 bucks. But I like the idea, what you say, it's up to them. What are you comfortable with? What, don't overextend yourself, because then it puts pressure on you. Now you can't pay the rent, but you're trying to do this business, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's got to
And-
be comfortable.
And what
Otherwise,
are
you're,
you,
and
Yeah, go
if,
ahead.
if it's not comfortable, your spouse will get on your case.
Yeah, somebody.
You know?
or your family and everybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were you talking about, cassettes? You used to record this on a cassette and send it out to people?
Yeah, yeah. I made hundreds of them.
Like a little, how long would it be, you think, the recording?
My whole presentation was 30 minutes.
That whole thing, 30 minutes on a cassette? Yeah.
And here's another way to get started. I'd say, you know what, when you start this business, pretend that the tool that you're starting with is a box and it's on the floor. And you got to pick that box up and open it and go to work. Okay. Because you get your starter kit. The $25, you get a starter kit. You got to open it up and go to work and pretend that starter kit is a rocket. Have you seen the rockets going off in Cape Canaveral, right? When they count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, when they get to 1, the rockets explode, and it's a tremendous amount of energy to get that rocket going into the air. And as the rocket goes up, the further it goes, the easier it goes, and pretty soon it's in orbit. Once it's in orbit, you're in shape. Now, treat this business like that. When you first start, it's difficult. It's like the thousands of pounds of energy needed to get that rocket going. And that's comparable to starting any new business. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to start making money. But once you get into orbit, I'm saying the rocket's in place. And by the way, I had a count now. I say, pretend that's that rocket. And it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way to 1. And it goes, boom. And you see it going up into space. That's where your business will be if you put that kind of effort and concentration into building it. And all this stuff of these presentations I've talked about, they're comparable to a 90-day plan. Go 90, you know. So from now on, I'm gonna build a comparable presentation incorporating the Go 90, because you know what, a lot of people have focused on what their goal is for 90 days. And if you really focus on that goal for 90 days, you will be in orbit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it took me, what's October, November, December, January, February, March. It took me 5 months to get over to 10,000 a month income. So it's a little bit more than 90 days. But
Right.
but the
Not
first
much
the first 60 months in that company, which is 5 years, half of those months were record breaking because I kept going. I kept focused. And by the way, I never once gave up riding my horses,
Right.
because you got to have your life. If you give up your life to build a future, you're going to lose your past.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yep.
People who are so determined, like working 15 hours a day for 90 days, to me is impossible.
Yeah.
I want to ride my horse. I do this business so I can have my horses, not so I can sell health and fitness to someone, although I enjoy doing that. But I got to have health and fitness. My health and fitness comes from getting out there, saddling up a horse and riding.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's why, by the way, if I was talking to one of my horse people, that's why I got where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
The horse people know worldwide, I'm one of the top riders in the sport. Period. The NASCAR driver that is a big wheel, that's me in the sport of endurance.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
And
And
I
in-
never,
And in
and to
business
this
building.
day, I still have not given up my horses.
Right.
When I woke up in the hospital a day after getting broken leg, I said, hey, I got a horse ride to do in 2 weeks. I got to get out of here. They said, forget it, dude, you're not doing it.
But did you do it?
No, I couldn't.
But at least you tried. Now that brought up a cool point. And did you used to do this? So we're doing a 90-day run. Once we've done that 90-day run, it doesn't mean we can't bring in someone on board to start their own 90-day run at the point they come in, not wait for another one. We're doing a 90-day run, jump in now and do your 90 days. And then when we're done our 90-day run, it's like, okay, we did a 90-day run, you do your 90-day run. Is that what you're saying?
Well, sort of, yeah, basically, yes. If I was selling income or the business, I'd say, look, we have if I'm going a 90-day run, a GoPro for 90 days, whatever my level is, there's a program called GoPro for 90 days that you can really nail it in 90 days. And then you got to get the pitch on the value of a 90-day program. And then what it is, if you go for 90 days with this program, it's what's the slogan they say? Go for 90 days for life, a new life or something. What are the promotional code?
90 days of pain for a life of gain.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't call it pain. Pain's a negative word. Let's figure something else out. 90 days of effort for a lifetime of
Freedom.
freedom.
Okay.
Or
I would say we have a program called 90 Days to Pro. And what it is, you spend 90 days of maximum effort for your goal.
Yes.
You get a lifetime income.
Yes.
And I'm still getting income from companies I started working back in the 90s, because
Awesome.
of that residual. But the problem, well, we don't expound on that. That's
Yeah.
another whole thing.
We got 2 minutes left, but this has
You
been
have to
amazing.
be with the right company. And that's why LifeWave is so good. I feel David Smith has a future for us. Not just the patches. It's not just the patches. Remember that.
Yeah, it's not just that.
Not
It's a
just the
vision for the
patches.
future.
All
What
the
you say, it's a vision for the future. And what you said last time is this company is set up for long-term growth without David Smith and without anything. It's set up to gain momentum and run on
That's
its
so
own.
important.
Running for that long already. So yeah.
So anyway, my 90 days, and I say, you can start anytime you want, but I'm not going to put 15 hours a day like some promote. I'm going to, the hours that are comfortable for me, that I can be consistent, not interfere with my horses, not interfere with my personal life. But my personal life is more important to me than a greedy income.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll close on that. That's awesome. It's good to see you on the beach, Brady. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Makes
great.
me feel warm.
Okay, cool. Awesome, guys.